I said, "Hey, Joel, let's write a song about dad." And he goes, "No, let's write a song about mom."
Luke, tell me about this brand new album. What are we waiting for? I need to know what the title means. What do you feel like we're waiting for that we're not doing?
Yeah, well, I think that's the part of the reason why we wanted to call it that is because I think it's actually different for everybody. That's a question that there's a different answer for depending on where you are and in your life. Because, I think that the pandemic has really made us realize that there's a lot of dreams that have laid dormant in people's lives. There's a lot of there's a lot of conversations that we should be having that maybe at times we ignore. There's a lot of forgiveness that needs to take place, and in some cases, you're left with the question of, "What are we waiting for?"
Yeah.
And so I think the hope is that will be a question that, in some cases, demands an answer,
Mm.
and so that would be our hope with this record.
It's so powerful, Luke. Honestly, I'm obsessed with the song For God Is With Us. And I know that it seems like it could almost be a Christmas song. I don't know if it started out that way because Emmanuel, I'm always thinking about that theme at Christmas. And it fully shares the gospel story. Was that your intent with this song, or where did it start?
You're a very observant person, Joy. I'm glad that we did get to write a song about you. But
That's right, back in the day.
yes,
I mean,
forgot,
I'm convinced.
That's right. For God Is With Us was written as a Christmas song.
I
And
felt
we
that.
had it as a Christmas song, and we put it. I mean, we have a version of it. Now, we used to have "No Room in the Inn" was one of the lyrics in there.
They were like, that's
And
too
so anyway,
Christmassy.
but that song. When we had it all fully recorded and everything, we were listening to the record and was like, "This song doesn't fit." This is a sound. It's funny. Some of the reminders that take place at Christmas, we actually do need all year round. Like the Hallmark
Yes.
cards, like Christmas all year round. Well, in some cases, when should you ever forget the gospel?
Or that God is
You know?
with us, man. We
That's
need
right.
that.
That's right. So anyway, that song came from that period of time. It was a very difficult one to record because the only thing you could hear it as was a Christmas song. And so to convert it to kind of a all year round song was what took a long time. I think it was about the last song to finish for the record. And when we had finally kind of felt like, anyway, you guys determine whether or not it works or not. But when we felt like we had landed it, we were like, "Oh, praise God," because it took
It's
a
been
long time.
around for all the seasons.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's a powerful music video. This is something you guys are so good at, Luke. Your creative aspects when it comes to the visual of your music, it's killer. And this Broken Halos video, I hope you got your tetanus shot before you went out there. I was watching you like, are you guys okay? Like, I don't know if the person listening has seen it, but you guys are on harnesses and you're like hitting the ground. I have no doubt it was not fun to make. So I know that the heart behind it has to be really strong. So tell me about that.
Well, I think in some cases we grew up making music video or home videos as kids, and I think Ben, our older brother who directed it and directs all of our pieces, I think he just wants to figure out a way how to torture his younger brothers, and he's like, "I'm gonna put him in a music video,
And I'm going to hoist
and
them
so,
up by their pants.
Yeah, because here's the thing: the hoisting. Let's just put it this way. If you're up there for longer than a minute 30 seconds, it is agonizingly painful,
I
and
have
you
no
lose
doubt.
circulation. You lose circulation to your legs.
And you guys were probably up there for like a whole day. I mean, I can't
Well,
imagine.
no, you come up and down, but it was a load of fun. And look, I think that the actual song, "Broken Halos," is really written about the fact that, look, if we're all a little broken, right, and we have a halo that's broken, then that gives us an ability to relate to one another. It gives us ability to, even if one isn't showing compassion, maybe we could show them empathy in return. And the pandemic highlighted a few things. We're much more fractured than I think that we're willing to admit. And I think that people think that social issues are social issues, but social issues are just personal issues multiplied.
Oh,
And
that's
so that
good.
means that we're fractured individuals. And so our hope is that a song like "Broken Halos" makes people go, "Man, I've done some things I'm not proud of. I'm broken, and that person who wronged me, I'm going to return them and do the best I can to return it with compassion, because that's what I would hope people to treat me as, and I want to do my best to do return them with that very thing."
Yeah, I love that there's such a heart behind it. The video is so cool. Can you tell me what the imagery is supposed to mean? That you're in this dark and dirty, dungy place, and then at the end you're like flying over the city. I was like, you can tell there's a progression in the song. Can you tell me about that?
When you recognize that some of your fallacies in life take place, it's at that moment when you're kind of humbled that you can soar. And I think a lot of times the gospel is a little bit of the upside down kingdom, right?
Yeah.
But still, we're left with this temptation of feeling superior. We want to feel better. We want to feel like we're king of the hill, right? But it's when we're at the bottom of the hill is when you can actually truly soar. And that's what we're trying to illustrate, even with the flying. It's, we fly sometimes, then we fall.
Yes.
Well, you fall. You're in some cases, maybe not to overly spiritualize things, but in some cases, it's like Peter. Peter could walk on water while he kept his eyes on the prize. And the moment he realized, I'm walking on water, he fell.
Maybe that'll be the next video. He'll torture you with being underwater, Luke.
Yes. So let's figure out how to walk on water.
Don't let him hear that. Okay, so my last question for you, even though there's several songs I want to ask about because I love them all. Unsung Heroes is about your mom, and I want to know whose idea it was to write a song about her. I've never had the pleasure of meeting her, but your dad is just this like hero of the faith. I was at a lunch with him recently, and he opened up a devotional book, and he said, I have to proclaim Jesus before we eat because that's how my family gets to eat, is like God provides for us when I share about him. So I know you have this deep faith in your family. Tell me why you decided to write a song about your mom and what that was like.
Yeah, well, the way that it started is actually I said, hey, Joel, let's write a song about dad. And he goes, no, let's write a song about mom. And so it ended up being a song basically about parents. I say it's 75% about mom, 25% about dad.
Oh, he is thrown in there, yes.
He is thrown in there. And, one of the things that has made me realize, and maybe it is because of what we've walked through, that, life is very fragile. And you get taught that basically your whole life. But it's not until you have people that you love that are no longer here that it kind of hits home. And a lot of times it's when they're no longer here that we start writing about the things that, they meant to us.
Yeah.
And I think our hope is, well, we don't have to do that. Like, why can't we say some of these things that maybe we would say normally in those, scenarios right now that they can actually enjoy, that they can actually, maybe that infuses them with a little bit of faith. Maybe that infuses them with a little bit of gratefulness. Because, man, you're a mother.
Yeah.
It's the invisible that matters, right? It's the things that you're teaching them at the ages that your kids are at, the ages that my kids are at, that actually is what they end up thanking you for when they're in their 20s and they're in their 30s, maybe not in their teenage years, but that comes back around.
Yeah.
And I think for us, one of my favorite lyrics on that album is, been on 1,000 stages, but when it's all said and done, I hope I make you proud of the man that I've become. And, one of the things that I love is it was never about what took place on the stages for my mom. It was all the things that took place off the stages that nobody could see. Those were the things that mattered. And she once told me, and I'll leave this with you, she said, I'm very concerned about what happens when things are not going your way. Who is the man that you are? What type of character you have when you're losing? What type of character do you have when people are wronging you? That's what makes a man.
And that's what I'm going to say to my son now when I put him to bed every night. Thank you so much, Luke. I'm grateful for your time, for this album, for the energy you've put into it, because we get to grow in our faith through it. So thank you. And it's fun. We love it.
Thank you, Joy. Always a pleasure to get to see you. It's crazy that we can be in the same town and we so infrequently get to see each other. But all the best to you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. You too. Good luck. I know you're doing a bunch of these. Thank you, friend.
All good.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.